It is game day! Six of the universe here. How's everybody doing? Me? I'm fantastic. Six of the up 1-0 in the series after a great offensive performance. We easily could have put 200 points on the board. I mean, I felt that live that we were getting great quality shots. I go and look back and I'm seeing it even more. Washington played absolutely terrible defense. If they start Westbrook, Beal, and Raul Neto again, if they go with that big all lineup again, we're going to put on 50. That lineup is worse defensively than I think anything else that I've seen so far. I've seen the Brooklyn Nets and their challenges. I've seen other teams. I have never seen anything like Washington. You're starting 6'2" all Neto at forward. Or what is it, 6'5" Bradley Beal? You ain't guarding shit like that. And what, they got Alex Lynn, Daniel Gafford. you see, this team, the Wizards, can't stop anything. It just can't. They don't have the personnel. And on our end, we have Ben Simmons, who, yes, is a lightning rod, but as I said in my review, look, Ben Simmons played great basketball the other night, a couple of nights ago, we played on Sunday, so 3 days ago. Unusual for a playoff series. I'm guessing that extra day or two wait is because Washington came from the play-in. But that's also good for our guys to get that kind of rest too. But anyway, Game 1, Ben Simmons played outstanding basketball on both ends of the court. Offensively, he was terrific. Now, I'll give you this. When it comes to the whole assist thing, and when it comes to the whole... I woke up a couple moments ago. When it comes to the whole points created and that stuff, I did not buy that argument a couple of months ago against the Lakers when Danny Green hit for 28 points and Reggie Miller wanted to convince me that that's Ben, and I'm like, no, he had shots. Great for Danny, but that wasn't creation to me, especially off of 7 turnovers. You're not going to sit here and tell me swing the kickout guy necessarily on his own without context is creation. Because anybody can pass to an open shooter. But that's not what happened in Game 1. Game 1 was not like the Laker game a couple months ago. Game 1, I saw him throwing passes through the needle. I saw him throwing darts. I saw him throwing guys open. It's just like a quarterback thing in the NFL. I saw Ben Simmons throwing guys open as opposed to just throwing a pass to a guy and he happens to hit a shot. Which to me is not so much creation as that is you pass it to a guy and he hits a shot. For me, it isn't always so much the assist, but it's can you get guys open with your passing? Is your passing game complementary to the idea of the player scoring rather than, so for example, you could just throw the ball to Embiid in the post and Embiid will get a bucket. To me, if a guard maneuvers in an angle, like Tyrese Maxey will use the dribble to get it to where the ball can be thrown into the post, alright, fine. In Ben's case, Ben could just throw it over. And ironically enough, this is the paradox, and this is why I liked it when Tyrese Maxey ran the point guard spot. When Ben would throw the ball into a post, he would just throw it in, little touch pass. And even though a lot of analysts would like to say it's because he's big and tall that he can make these passes, ironically enough and counterintuitively, because he can make that simple little throw pass, it's not hard to guard. Like Embiid doesn't have to move towards the ball. He doesn't have to move inside of the post. He can just stand there and catch it. Well, that means the defender, the guy on Embiid's back, he doesn't have to move either. Imagine guarding someone for 280 pounds. I would like to get Embiid closer to the rim, and I can't do that if my guard could just stand stationary and throw it in. So in many ways, I prefer normally a traditional normal guard for half-court entry passes, because that way you can get the maneuvering of the defensive big man and get that big fighting for position against Joel, as opposed to a stationary Joel just catches the ball because no one can, really impede the Simmons pass. That's a bit convoluted, but in my eye test, I just don't see, Ben standing there throwing a pass like that as creative for the post. And in general, sometimes you throw it in, and B does 90% of the work, and then Embiid gets the bucket, and Ben gets the assist, but I don't generally count that as an assist. Or if Steph Curry pops open, you pass to Steph Curry. Don't get me wrong, it's great that you're reading the floor, but I'm not going to sit here like Ben is Nash, Stockton, Paul, just by making the right read. I want him to make the right reads, that way he's not turning the ball over, but I'm just saying I want to put this in proper, appropriate context, where if you make the read, you make the simple play, great, but that's not, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's like throwing a pass to an open route that gets you 5 yards, 6 yards. Good job on the routine play, but I'm not going to sit here like you revolutionized it, like you created that. No. In the case of John B creates literally most of his own offense. 33% usage rate. So for me, when I look at Ben Simmons playing the game of basketball, and when I look at his assists, I ask myself, is Ben creating this shot? Or is he reading the play? There's nothing wrong with reading the play. I'm just saying, it's not, oh my God, no one else could do that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not, no one else could do that. So that's not what I look for. It's a positive grade, but it's like not a big positive grade, But that's not what I saw in game one. What I saw in game one is what got me excited about Ben Simmons back when we drafted him. It isn't that you were just making some rudimentary standard pass. No, you were throwing passes that no other guy could throw. You were creating opportunities for your teammates that otherwise, if not for you, would not have existed. That's the Ben Simmons I want to see. Ben Simmons as an elite passer, not just someone who just makes basic passes. Now, don't get me wrong, mix up a few of those basic passes, keep your turnover low. I'm just saying, is that the best Ben Simmons that we've seen is the Ben Simmons who is aggressive with the ball as a passer, not a basic. I feel like Ben Simmons trying to play the role of a normal point guard has always hindered him. I've said that for a while now. I feel like Ben Simmons needs to be this creative, open court playmaker, and to do that, he needs to be at the rim to get rebounds. I just don't see him as a traditional point guard. But what I saw him as at game one, I saw him as Ben Simmons, who we drafted out of LSU. From a playmaker standpoint, that was Simmons LSU. That was rookie LSU, Ben. What we drafted, what we got for the first 2 years. That's what we thought we were getting. And I am so impressed, and I am so happy with his rebounding effort in game one. And I will not excuse anything less in game two. I'm not saying for 10 rebounds. 8 rebounds is okay, but try to aim for another 10. Try to aim for another double-figure rebound game. 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". The Wizards are playing 3 guards, and they're playing, at best, one big man. One true big man on the court at all times. You're literally the tallest, if not the second tallest guy, comparatively to the Wizards. Rebound the ball aggressively. Get the boards. Be active. I want that. And I value that. So since I was on the topic of illustrating why I feel like Ben's passing game is elite in this game and why sometimes I'm not as impressed. So while I'm talking about all these nuances of my Ben Simmons grade, I want to talk about something else. Doc Rivers, I think he's tired of talking about Ben Simmons' offense. And it's understandable in this. Doc Rivers just came here, this year. But as a fan base, we have been traumatized because we have seen the lack of half-court creation. And we have seen that this guy, even literally this year, puts up 42 and 10. But the way I see it is that in certain circumstances in play, whether it's a team that goes small or whether it's a team that doesn't have someone who can guard them, whatever the case is. But I think it's time for us to say year 4 going into year 5, And it's hard to say this, I know, and it's even harder to accept this. But Ben does not have the natural repertoire to score. He doesn't have a mid-range jump shot. Oh, he'll attempt a fadeaway every once in a while, which, by the way, I hate that fadeaway. Go up and down like every normal jump shooter. Straight up and down with your back. Aim the ball instead of that fadeaway shit. Not like you're hitting these fadeaways. Just go straight up and down. But he doesn't have a jump shooting arsenal of any sort. He doesn't have elite handles for the guard spot. I feel like he could drive the lane against a big man, but against the guard, or against a wingman even, I don't think he's going to shake many of them out of their boots, per se. His post game, to me, is still rudimentary. He has a nice hook, sure. He doesn't have a counter move, and his hook is in and out half the time. Sometimes he doesn't finish strong. When you really dissect his game critically, does that sound like an elite scorer to you? It doesn't. And we're in year 5. I know what the contract is. I know what we would have wanted it to be. It was a mistake. It was a mistake in personnel. It was a mistake in salary decision making. You paid him on the foreseen upside, but in my opinion, part of the reason you haven't met that upside yet is because he's out of position and because he hadn't developed the game because he was out of position. If this guy was drafted at power forward, kept at power forward, I believe he would have worked on some post moves by now. I believe he would have felt that, okay, I'm a big man, I can dominate the big position. But it's too late now. You wasted 4 years of development. 4! All that to say this. I don't think that Doc, Sam, and Dave Yeager, you don't even hear about that anymore. I think they've accepted it, and it's time that we accept it. Ben Simmons will not be a legitimate scoring threat in the NBA at any point in his career, period. Oh, sure, he may give you 14, 15, maybe he might give you 16. But the proof is in the pudding. He only attempted 1.3 less shots a game. That's not a lot. That's not, Doc Rivers used the word sacrifice before. I'm sorry, that's not a sacrifice. You only shot 1 shot less a game. I can't call that a sacrifice. To me, if you would reduce your shots by 4 or 5 or 6, Doc can make that argument to me very credibly, and I'll say, okay, he's taking less shots than the offense. He's taking only 1 less shot. I can't make that argument. I'm sorry, Doc. That's not what's happening here. What's happening, your free throw shooting isn't there. You want a great finisher to begin with. You're just not apt for scoring. And I wish the Doc would just come out there and say that. Just be honest and be forthright. Not that he's not, but more Doc doesn't want to rip off the Band-Aid. I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid. Ben Simmons will never be an elite scorer in the NBA, period. There'll be games where the paint's open and he'll flash. But the LeBron thing, it never should have been a thing, and it's not a thing. It's not the comparison. It's unrealistic. It's over. And I'm saying this not mad about game one. I'm being brutally honest. I don't see Ben Simmons ever developing as a scorer. I don't. It would take a humongous growth in Ben Simmons' game to become a scorer in this league. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. And we're just going to have to deal with the fact that Ben Simmons' salary is overpaid to the extent. Now, I know I watch Broke Landers' videos, and Broke Landers has come with the statement, it's not your money. I know it's not. That's not really the issue. The issue is that money is going to clog salary decisions. It's going to make it harder. If Ben's not that scorer, do we have three main league guys? We might have two, Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. But you're flanking those guys with Steph Curry and Danny Green. It's why I believe Tyrese Maxey needs to be a starter. More likely next year, but you need to find your first scorer from somewhere. It's not going to be Ben, 14, 15. I have a friend who is a Chicago Bulls fan, and we talk often. And he himself mentioned that Ben Simmons is probably a 4th or 5th option. No one expected this for Ben Simmons' development. No one believed this, but this is year 4. That's what I would tell Mike Missolani. It's over. He is never going to develop a scoring game. It's unprecedented. You have to take, at this point, it would be called a late career growth. And there is no evidence whatsoever, not even the tiniest bit, to suggest that that's going to happen. So, I'm going to be on Team Doc here, and I'm going to convey this message in a way that I know my fellow Philadelphians will hear. Deal with it. It's just like Donovan McNabb. Deal with it. He's not going to be what the organization thought, what draft pundits thought, what a lot of people thought. He could have been if we played him at power forward from the beginning, but it's just so late in the development game. He's going to be 25. It's so damn late. I don't know that he can do it. I hope that he does. But at this point, at this juncture of his career, it's time to accept that, as disgusting as it sounds, 15-8-8 just might damn well be what it is. Better Draymond Green, who's a better slasher, just might be who he is. And I am okay with that, so long as we win a championship in the Ben Simmons Joel Embiid. As long as we win a championship, I could be fine that you are a glorified Draymond Green. In fact, glorified Draymond Green isn't even saying it. He gave the Warriors 6-7 points. Ben has given us 14, 15. So in all honesty, better Draymond Green is a damn good player. It's just not what you foresaw when you signed the contract. Because when you sign somebody to $30 million, you consider all of the very good, solid starting wingmen and guards who are earning anywhere from 15 to 20 million. When you pay a guy $30 million, which is going to go upwards to 41 in like 3 years, you're paying Ben Simmons the equivalent of 2 starters. And I'm not sure that Ben Simmons will ever have the offensive production of 2 starters. That's not Ben's fault. That's Elton Brand. That's the Colangelo people. And it's why I hated the contract at the time. I hated it. Because you were basically giving him this contract a year before restricted free agency. At least give yourself the opportunity to evaluate his development, rather than lock yourself into the idea that he's going to be Michael, that he's going to be LeBron, etc. Instead of, it just turns out that he's a really good, high-caliber all-star player. It's just important to give yourself as much time as you can get and as much information as you can get to plot out the contracts more appropriately, rather than say, we drafted you, we believed in your potential, we believe you'll be a superstar, haven't shown a superstar player yet, but hey, take the superstar max contract. Take $30 to $40 million. Why not? And again, That's nothing to do with Ben. It's just that it is a problem for roster construction everywhere else. Now that we're paying him $30 million, we're paying $25 million to Danny Green and Seth Curry. If they're hot, great. This is the real limitation of the Sixer roster. And this is the real concern, not so much Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a guy, and we saw this in Game 1 when we put on the 28. Tobias Harris putting up 37, right? If you get scorers around Ben Simmons, not shooters, there's a myth. Get shooters around Ben. What's that going to do? I'll tell you what that does. That makes you one-dimensional. It makes you easy to guard. You got a bunch of shooters. No, what we would have wanted to do, let me tell you what we would have wanted to do. We would have wanted to be like the Brooklyn Nets. That's what we could have been. I'll tell you the potential of what we could have been if we appreciated what Ben Simmons was. If we appreciated what Ben Simmons was, we wouldn't say to ourselves, Ben and shooters. It's Ben and scorers. Scorers. And yeah, scorers that can shoot. But the key there, did you see how shoot was secondary? I don't care that you can shoot necessarily. I don't. In Danny Green and Seth Curry, you have the opposite. You have shooters who can't really score. Seth Curry, little. But let's be real here. And that's what makes Tyrese Maxey promising. He is a scorer who is showing lately some shooting ability. That is the preferred. That is better than Marco Bellinelli, J.J. Redick. Give me the guy who will always be a threat to score. Ben Simmons can create a million opportunities with a scorer. The only thing he can create with a spot-up shooter, and we all know it, is a damn spot-up shot. You're doing Ben a disservice by giving him just shooters. You know, when I think about this, I've always had this thought when Ben Simmons was a Sixer uniform. I thought he would be great with Andre Iguodala. He'd be great with a weapon like that. And the Sixers just were never able to get him an elite lob threat. The best athlete we've ever had with Ben Simmons is the backup big man of Rashawn Holmes. And Game 1 revealed that to me. Well, until we got Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is a wonderful transition threat. But that's it. Tobias Harris is the only rim attacker in transition. Everyone else is a spot-up shooter. So when you think about, and now this gets to next year, whether we win a title or not, let's say we keep Ben regardless. What would I like to adjust in the offseason? Get Ben some athletic rim attacking help. Get him a scorer who can do multiple things. I am not in the fetish for another 40% shooter who can't do jack shit else. It's basketball, not horse. Basketball. You know? That thing where guys have handling ability, where they go in the post, where they have various moves to get themselves open. Basketball ain't horse. When basketball becomes horse, then we can put Ben in shooters. But right now, that idea is just a disservice to him. And the only reason why guys like Danny Green and Seth Curry can exist in the best starting lineup ever is because Joel Embiid damn near giving you 35 points half the time. Joel Embiid is the MVP. Ben is the fourth option. Seth Curry is another fourth, fifth option type. I'm not even going to call Danny Green an option. And yet you're putting 128 points on the board? Because Joel Embiid can put 30 points in 30 minutes. It's insane. He's the MVP without a doubt. Jokic gets to play with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. We don't have anywhere close to that on the perimeter. You know, no disrespect to Tobias Harris after his Game 1, but I look at him as more of a combo forward. I don't look at him as a wing. So let's say you have Joel, you have Toby, and that's it. Joel's number 2 has been Tobias Harris this year, and he's done it pretty well. But does that still leave me? I'm still hoping. And I believe we have a cheap in-house solution in Tyrese Maxey. But if it's not Tyrese Maxey, you do what you can to bring in a big buster. Because I don't know if you get this close again with Seth Curry and Danny Green. I'm really honest with you. I'm being brutally honest. You're barely getting 18 points a game out of those two combined. I don't know if you get the spot again. I don't know if Draymond be putting up 34 a night again for you to be able to be okay with two subpar scorers. That's all. Obviously, the bench is solid. Hopefully, it remains solid. So I'm on a little tangent there on what I think we should do for the future with Ben Simmons. But my whole point is, Ben's a great player. We saw that in Game 1. I think we're going to dominate Game 2. I think we're going to sweep the series. But here's the other thing. Don't be alarmed by what's happening with Brooklyn. We swept Boston in the regular season. What do you think would have happened if we met them in the playoffs? We would have swept their asses too. So Brooklyn could beat Boston by 1,000. And I'm not going, oh my God, for the Stephen A's, for the Max Kellermans, etc. of the world. I'm not going, oh my God, did you see that? We would have done it too. We would have kicked some Boston ass too. It would have been just as easy. The only way you're going to be able to determine Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philadelphia is going to be the second round between the Bucks and the Nets and us versus whoever in the Eastern Conference Finals. Those 2 rounds are going to be the definitive answer to who it really is the best of the best. No more speculation about that. And as a Sixer fan, I have pure optimism that is us. In fact, not even optimism, conviction. I am guaranteeing it. I'm going to do a little Rasheed Wallace and I'm going to guarantee it. I guaranteed that the Sixers will be the ones to be in the NBA Finals. I'm putting this on the internet. I am guaranteeing it. It might be bulletin material or whatever if some fan of the Knicks or the Hawks or whoever sees it. I don't care. Even with bulletin material, I don't care. This team is the best one in the Eastern Conference. Top to bottom, with everything we feel about Ben Simmons as the Egma of who he is, but he's a great player. Tobias, Joel, we can survive Steph Curry, Danny Green, especially on the nights when they're really hot. Hopefully your bench continues to be productive. And I feel like we could take it. I feel like this bench could take it. We got this. The Sixers got this. They got it tonight, and they'll get it in their road to the championship. So this is Sixers Universe pregame live, road to the championship. Signing off.